Hi, I'm Shelley Maurer,
And I'm Cher Emmerich. Welcome to Life Lessons from Pickleball,
where we engage with pickleball players from around the world about life on and off the court.
Thanks for joining us.
Before we get started, we have something really exciting to share.
Our book, Life Lessons from Pickleball, is now available on Amazon, and a portion of every sale is donated to Operation Paddle Lift.
Your purchase helps deliver paddles, nets, and resources to underserved communities around the world.
Thank you for being a part of growing the game we all love. Now let's jump into today's episode. Welcome everyone to Life Lessons from Pickleball. Oh, today we are so honored to have with us Melissa McCurley. Melissa, you are a United States Navy veteran, a former hospital corpsman who served during Operation Desert Storm, and someone whose life has clearly been shaped by service, leadership, and staying steady under pressure.
And what is so remarkable is that after your military service, you went on to lead major technology and crisis response work, including supporting the Navy after 9/11 and restoring communications after Hurricane Katrina. Then you brought that same calm, capable leadership into pickleball and helped shape the sport in extraordinary ways.
You took over pickleballtournaments.com in 2014 and helped transform it into the backbone of tournament pickleball, supporting the growth of more than 1,200 events and hundreds of thousands of players. And you also helped launch the sport's first data-driven rating system, and you became the first woman, hey, this is big, you became the first woman in broadcast pickleball on CBS Sports. And now you serve as Executive Vice President of Competition for the Association of Pickleball Players, APP.
Wow. And there's more. There is more. And in 2025, you were inducted into the Pickleball Hall of Fame as a contributor, which feels like such a fitting honor for someone who has done so much behind the scenes to help the sport grow. And recently, you were featured in the documentary, The Power of Pickleball. Wow, Melissa. Thank you for everything you've done.
Amen.
So how did someone with your amazing background find your way to pickleball?
Well, pickleball found me. I wasn't looking for it. Wasn't looking for it at all. So I had spent several years, almost 20, building a pretty strong career in information technology. I worked for Ross Perot's company, EDS, and then I went on to work for American Express. And so when pickleball found me, and I decided to walk away from almost 20 years of building that IT career. I know my family thought I had lost my mind. My mother and my stepdad wanted to send me to a psychologist. And so people will always ask me that I have a vision for that. And I let people know I had no vision for it at all. I wasn't looking for it. All I know, and it's been still, it was unexplainable at the time. I understand it better now. But I was just being pulled and what I refer to being called to do something. And I just went forward. Sure, I was scared at times, but at the same time, I just felt like this is what I'm supposed to go do. And so I did. So no vision, could not have told you this is where pickleball was going to go and that the sport was going to explode into the phenomenon that it is on a worldwide scale. I just said, I'm supposed to go serve in this way, and off I go. And it's been the best decision I ever made in my life, and it's been a life-changing journey, a lot of sacrifices. I tell people I suffer from PTSD for a lot of different reasons, but I would go and do it all again if I had the opportunity.
Did you even play pickleball before you made this decision?
Yeah, so pickleball was introduced to me and my family in 2007. One of my relatives brought a pickleball set to Christmas because we always played games. It didn't matter, darts, ping pong, you name it. And so I just thought pickleball was a game we played at Christmas in our driveway. So when I was transferred with my job to Phoenix, Arizona, and a girl on my tennis team mentioned something about her dad being a national pickleball champion, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So she told me to check it out, the west side of Phoenix, that there was this large national tournament that ran every November. And so I went and did that very thing, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I saw all these active adults and seniors playing on real pickleball courts and having a blast. And back then, not many people knew what pickleball was. In the tournament scene, there were about 93 tournaments nationwide. Only about 3 or 4 of them, if you were under the age of 50, that you could play. And 80% of the players that were playing pickleball then were 60 and older. And there were 2 paddle manufacturers that existed at the time. So about 15,000 tournament players. And so it wasn't a well-known sport. So the way I ended up, so yes, I did play some pickleball, not often, but my mom and my stepdad ended up relocating from Texas out to Phoenix when I called them up and said, you guys aren't going to believe this. You got to come out here and see what's going on. So they did, and they went home and put their house up for sale after being in Texas for over 40 years.
Wow.
So my mom was a big part of my transformation into pickleball, and because she did eventually, she was a tennis player as well. She eventually started playing pickleball. Got involved. I filled in for her pickleball partner who was going to be on a cruise to play in a tournament with her. And so I didn't play much pickleball, but I stepped in. We did win a silver medal that day.
Oh.
Yeah, but the tournament director, Hall of Famer Mark Friedenberg, did let me know as he was presenting me the medal, right, that my mom usually wins gold. So
That sounds like Yoda.
yeah, that was Yoda. So Yoda's certainly a good friend, and he's also a Hall of Famer complainer, which I don't, which he's very proud of that title as well. But because of that tournament, there was some of my mom's friends who played on Sunday asked if I would come out and play with them. And so I went with that group to play, and they're playing, this was May 14th, 2014, was Jetty Lanius, and I'd never met Jetty. Thought she had a super cool name, but her husband, Bob, had developed pickleballtournaments.com to help him run club events, but then some senior games decided, Arizona Senior Olympics, the Huntsman World Senior Games, wanted to use it, Nationals wanted to use it. And so something that Bob had built to help him was now starting to become a business, and they weren't looking to become a business. And so they, my brother and I came along, and they asked if we'd be interested. We took a look, we evaluated the program for about 3 months, and then in August of 2014, we bought pickleballtournaments.com, and life literally changed forever.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine, and I can only imagine how busy you are. So what were some surprises when you took it over and you were managing this?
So one of the surprises was I went to my job at American Express, and I explained what I wanted to go do, and I could not have been prepared for this. They said they would really like me to be successful. So they asked if I would stay on with the company in a part-time position, and I would be paid my full-time salary. That was huge. So for 3 years, I continued to work at American Express. And I started up this new pickleballtournaments.com. So it was a lot. So that was a pleasant surprise, right? The other surprise was I thought we were going to be coming in and just providing software to tournaments. But what happened was people wanted to put on tournaments. They didn't want to run them in what I'll call pieces that you handle inside the lines. They didn't want to manage people's registrations. They didn't want to do the customer service around that. They didn't want to do the bracketing. They didn't want to do running the brackets and assigning the courts and creating the schedules. So now all of a sudden I found myself not only being a software business, but also being a services business. Wow. Providing services. So now I'm going around the country myself and running tournaments for people or teaching them to run tournaments. In those early days, I was doing that for free because I was really just determined to build brand reputation and really had a desire just to, help them be successful.
Wow. So when you did the services part, that must have expanded. Now you have a team, or how, because this is all over the country. How are you managing all the different events?
Yeah. So so initially, it was just my brother and I. I remember I was on the phone. There was a lady by the name of Kelly Gent, because I lived in Arizona at this time. And she was out in North Carolina. I'd met her once, and I was telling her, hey, I'm sitting out here in my motorhome. I rented my home. I got a motorhome. I'm living in it full time. I was in the parking lot in Surprise, Arizona, getting ready to run the USA Pickleball Regional Tournament, and the US Open was opening its first registration ever. And so I called up a couple of my friends. I said, hey, can you help me out run this regional tournament? I'm going to sit out here in my RV. I'll be available, and I'm going to open up the registration for US Open. And Kelly called me, and I'm telling her everything that's going on. And she's like, could you use any help? And I'm like, because I was, I was so protective of the brand. And I mean, when I tell people I work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for and that went on for like 3 years solid, I'm not lying about that.
Wow.
And so I said, Kelly, I said, I think I do. So she came on board to help me. And so she was doing a lot of my back office stuff. She was helping me run some tournaments. And then Deanne Davison came on to help me as well. And Dee was in and out for a couple of years, but she eventually came on full time, and I had her lead starting up what I call the pickleballtournaments.com pro team. So PT pro team is what we called it. And Dee led that, and we ended up having 20 to 25 individual contractors that were supporting us, that we were then able to hire out to tournaments to help run events.
Wow. How big? Is that it?
So that was with pickleballtournaments.com. So in 2018, so I'm going to step back a little bit in the timeline. In 2018, we were growing so big, and we really weren't, we were doing our best to just, keep up with the demand and the technology. And so I was being pursued by many investors and different people wanting to buy pickleballtournaments.com or partner. And I had a real desire to make sure that I represented what Bob and Jetty had built in a way that would make them proud and carry their legacy forward in a thoughtful way. So I just wasn't willing to sell to anybody. There were people really wanting to buy it that had the means, because back then it was hard to get into a tournament. I mean, everybody got on at midnight and was trying to get registered. And so team wait list became a thing, right? There were people that just never could get off the wait list. And anyhow, I don't even remember knowing now where I was going with that thought. Now, see, that's a senior moment.
We love our senior moments.
Yeah, we do.
Oh my gosh. This is a huge senior moment, so I'm not even sure I can get back on the track with it. But anyhow, I was stepping back in time. And so we were growing so fast, and then Pickleball Central, they had approached me, and they had been trying to help us be successful by exposing our brand to other tournament directors. So if someone signed up with us, then they would send them a tournament director kit. And in that kit would be things that they could access for free that would give benefit to their players. And so anyhow, I was getting ready to leave the 2017 national tournament in Casa Grande, and I went by to say bye to Anna Copley, who was one of the founders with her husband, David, of Pickleball Central. And Anna asked if I happened to have a moment to talk to their CEO about a partnership or maybe acquisition. I said, hey, sure. Absolutely. So I did. That was in November. In December of 2017, in November, I flew up to Seattle, did a whole presentation to Pickleball Central. They did a presentation to us. And then in February, they acquired the majority ownership of pickleballtournaments.com, and I stayed on to continue to run the company. And and then in 2021, at the end of 2021, before I say that, that allowed us to continue to invest resources, people into pickleballtournaments.com. And then that's when the PT services team really came together as well. And then I had taken on a lot of big brands before then. I had taken on the US Open, for example. I started consulting with them in 2015, ran that event for 9 years, commentating for them for 7 years. And then when Pickleball Central piece came along, then we launched other big brands, the APP, the PPA. I mean, we had been building, we had been planting the seeds for others to be able to harvest in the future. And had we not been doing what we were doing, it would have been very difficult for those pro tours to come along.
Right.
And so in 2021, then Pickleball Central and Pickleball Tournaments were both acquired by Tom Dundon, with Dundon Capital Planning. And then some of it, like Edward Hector, who was the CEO of Pickleball Central, he had retired. David Johnson, he retired. And then I stayed on another couple of years continuing running. We brought on pickleball brackets. We basically sunsetted pickleballtournaments.com, made that transition. And then I retired for a full 3 months.
So that is what I use now, pickleball.com. That's how that
Yes.
all evolved to pickleball.com. Wow.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So pickleballtournaments.com is a part of the pickleball.com ecosystem. That is correct.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you retired for 3 months and then?
Yeah. So Ken Herman, who founded the APP Tour, he was a customer of mine for many years. And so when I announced my retirement, I mean, people came out of the woodwork. You can only imagine. And I just said, I have to take a break. I mean, I have been all consumed in a way people may not ever be able to understand for a full decade. And so I don't know. I said, I just need to take a step back. Well, Ken stayed in touch. He just really wasn't going to take no for an answer. And, ultimately I really had a connection to his vision, the passion within their company. And I felt, you know what, I still have something left to give. And so I will come on to the APP and work with Ken and his amazing team of folks that came from Intersport, who's now part of the APP. And yeah, so I've been there now 2.5 years.
Wow.
So
And are
what
you still
excited
working?
you?
Sorry, Shell, I just have to know, are you still working 20 hours a day?
No, so
Oh,
I'm
thank
glad you
goodness.
asked the question, because one thing I said to Ken is I said, I will agree to do this, but under these conditions. I'm not going to move, and I'm not going to be all consumed again. And so certainly there's moments of all being consumed, but it's no longer 20 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Good news. Good news.
Yeah.
I was curious, what excited you the most about this new venture? You said you guys were in alignment. Just
Oh, yeah, just kind of when I say an alignment, it's like a real passion for growing the sport through all different, all different demographics. So from the juniors and the youth to the professionals, to the adults, to the seniors, to the masters, really being able to service that wide, community was, something that that matched with the things that I really enjoyed. And I knew at one point I would venture off, because everything was amateur pickleball when I started. At some point there would be this venture, amateur or pro. And so naturally, because of what I had built in the foundation, I was pulled into the pro side of the game. And, so I did that for a number of years. And now this was an opportunity for me to kind of go from grassroots and, come back and kind of build a pathway to professional play and be a part of that. And I just was really bought into that vision.
In 2025, you deservedly were inducted into the Pickleball Hall of Fame. So, what did that recognition mean to you, given all of the background work you had been doing, all the behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think for me, I just really felt extremely blessed and overflowed with joy that, what I had spent, what felt like a lifetime building, was being recognized at that level. Because there's a lot of people that make what I'll call Hall of Fame contributions who may never receive Hall of Fame recognition. And so I just get overwhelmed by it sometimes. Sometimes it feels surreal as well. But just grateful and full of gratitude and certainly honored to be. There's 36 of us in the Hall of Fame currently, and extremely honored to be part of a group of pioneers that have been so important to the history and to building and paving the path for where the sport is today. And certainly I'm excited for the things I can still contribute. I am the vice president as well of the Pickleball Hall of Fame. And so having the opportunity to continue to lay foundations and pave the path for future Hall of Famers is something that I call it being a bridge, from one place to another. When I was in corporate America, I was a bridge to millennials and, baby boomers, and being in the middle there. And so I kind of feel this the same way, bridging history with future, and continuing to grow and build the game that way.
Beautiful.
wow. Yeah, what an honor. And I'm curious, what did it feel like to be the first woman announcer of pickleball on CBS Sports?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. No, that was super cool. I was thinking about this the other day. It's like myself, Dave Weinbach, and Stephanie Lane were like one of the first commentators of any kind for pickleball, and is when Facebook just went on with Facebook Live. And we used to take our phones at major events, and we would just put the phones up at the championship court, and we would just commentate, right? And so, so when I just remember it was a U.S. Open, Chris and Terry, so Chris Evon and Terry Graham are the founders of the U.S. Open. They just said in year 2, they're like, hey, Melissa, they're like, yeah, do you know who would be good at commentating the U.S. Open? I'm like, who? You know? And they're like, you. I'm like, okay. And they felt that way because at the time I knew so many of the professional players. I own pickleballtournaments.com, so there was a lot of data that I had access to that I could provide insights that, other people just didn't have the opportunity to do that. And it culminated on this big stage. So one of the biggest compliments and I'll can sum up the commentating piece this way. One day I thought I wanted to be Katie Couric at one point. So on the Today, take her place on the Today Show. So this was a way for me to kind of scratch that dream that never came true.
Not yet. You just mean not yet.
Yeah, there you go. So when that opportunity came along, I was super excited. But to sum that piece up, I got a huge compliment. I don't know if you guys know Mary Carrillo or not.
Yeah.
And so I've never met Mary, but we have a mutual friend. And that mutual friend told me that Mary had been watching the U.S. Open. I think it was my last year to commentate. And she had told this friend of mine that she said she's the best commentator I've ever heard. She says she's just a natural. And so, I certainly had to learn over time. And if I go back and listen to some of the things that I've been a part of, I'm like, I guess, woo, boy, I still have a little bit to learn. But to me, that was the highest compliment. We're always our biggest critics, and I had so much fun with it. And, another part of my journey that I'm forever grateful for.
So if you had time in your busy world, would you do more of it?
The commentating?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, it was fun. I had other opportunities, but I just wanted to do the one event a year. I mean, commentating is no joke. So for the people that are doing that now, Dave Fleming, for example, he's on all the time. He's having to travel everywhere. Chad Edwards, Dominique Catalano, they're on air for a long time. And the mental conditioning and strain of that is significant. So I had opportunity to take that path as a career as well, and I chose that. I chose not to do it, but I enjoyed the opportunities that I had when I did it.
So cool.
Yeah.
So you have a Navy and emergency leadership background. Have any of those experiences influenced how you went about all your work with pickleball?
Probably only in the sense that, pickleball were just brackets. My Navy experience was when things were not working from a communications perspective, people's lives could actually be on the line. And then when I was at American Express, if there were communication issues, the company was losing $1 million a minute. That's serious pressure.
Wow.
So I would say that all of those years that I lived under pressure allowed me to, work through problems and stay calm and really be able to see through to solutions as opposed to being part of the chaos. And so I really think, some of those things helped me from an operational perspective of executing events, but certainly my background coming up, and I was on the corporate track of, I had a business coach, I had an executive coach, I had an image coach. I worked in sales, I worked in delivery, I worked in operations. And so all of those things really helped position me and ready me to become an entrepreneur and own a business of my own.
Jeez. I just can't, we didn't even cover, we just covered just a thumbnail of your life and what you've done. But in all of these experiences that you've had, what are some life lessons you might share with us?
One of the things, don't be too hard on yourself. Just always take forward progress, keep moving. Sometimes it feels like the pressure can be too much, but as Billie Jean King says, pressure is a privilege, right?
Yeah.
And pressure is usually what we feel when we don't know what's going on. And probably the biggest advice, and my people around me have heard me say this a lot: put yourself in uncomfortable positions, because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And at the other side of uncomfortable is where the magic really happens. And if you if you are afraid of being judged, if you're afraid of making mistakes, if you don't have the courage to put yourself out there, to experience failure, to ever get to picking yourself up so that you can see success, then you're going to limit yourself in your own life. So no matter how uncomfortable it feels, put yourself out there anyway and challenge yourself to continue to go forward even through the failures, because you have to go through them to ever experience success.
That's beautiful. Wow. That one needs to go on a t-shirt. There's your merch. There's your merch.
Yeah. I used to tell people hope's not a strategy either. So I also had another lesson is to, for me, is like, and maybe I get this from the pickleball journeys allowed me the privilege of being around a lot of seniors 20, 25 years older than me, and I learned a lot from them, and I've taken their advice to heart. And some people can't take advice to heart unless they have the experience themselves. So if you can take somebody else's experience and wisdom and actually apply that to your own life, then there's a lot less opportunity for regret. And so, I also had the opportunity to be on this journey with my mom. I mentioned she's the one who really got me the pickleball connection, if you will. And she was right along with me for the entire journey. She worked just as hard. She did my introduction to the Pickleball Hall of Fame, which was super special to me. But she did check-ins. She did every job. She traveled all over the country with me. And so, I would just say, if whatever opportunity that you get to spend with the people that you love, take them, because you never know when you won't have those opportunities again.
Wow. Yeah, good reminder too. Ooh, especially with Mother's Day coming up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Be thinking of you. Be thinking of you.
We'll have a good time.
So where can people find you and follow you?
Oh, geez, I know the young kids are going to be like, Melissa, we don't go on Facebook. That's for old people. But, certainly I have my personal page on Facebook. I also have an Instagram page. And what is my Instagram? Hold on, I'm going to tell you real quick. I have to look. But Instagram, because that's where the cool kids go. I don't have TikTok yet, so I can't help you with that. All right, I'm at Paddle Up _pickleball.
Paddle Up _pickleball. That's cute. Oh my gosh. You have, we are so indebted to you, Shelley and I, and all of us who love this game. We are so indebted to you for how you have made this day of pickleball so possible, and that we can watch other players and learn from them because of everything that you've done to make tournaments happen and all the other work that you've done. Really, just great gratitude. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And thanks for being on our show.
Yes. Oh, this is fun. You ladies, you guys are good at this. Yeah. We've been on this call for 38 minutes or so, and it feels like 8 minutes.
Good.
It's been so much fun.
Our audience is going to feel the same way, because, man, you are chock-a-block full of great experiences and wisdom. Yeah, gals, senior wisdom. There it is. So thank you. And thank you all for tuning in, and share this episode. Oh, my gosh, chock-a-block full. And reach out to Melissa and tell her thanks, because she's one who has made this day possible in pickleball. Thank you all, and we look forward to a new conversation next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you love our podcast, we'd be so grateful if you'd take a few seconds to follow or subscribe to Life Lessons from Pickleball. This ensures you'll never miss an episode and helps us continue these wonderful conversations.
On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, go to the show page and tap the follow button in the top right corner. And on YouTube, click the subscribe button under any of the episodes.
Thanks so much. Hope to see you on the court.